copies of their bi-monthly newsletter, call 718-447-3329 or visit the web at www.statenislandarts.org. Again, that's www.statenislandarts.org. It's on a Monday. Chris Soriano with the Chris Soriano Radio Experience on this Monday, July 14th. And the numbers I have for you right here. WWE is projected to lose $46 to $52 million this calendar year. World Championship Wrestling, WCW lost $61 million in 2000. WWE is on pace to lose anywhere from $46 to $52 million this year. That's bad. That is bad. What are you going to do? That's more than any other wrestling promotion ever outside of WCW that year in 2000. And the following year, WCW went out of business. I'm not saying WWE is going out of business, but it just makes you think. Now, where is the wrestling world right now? What is the landscape of professional wrestling? Well, it's not good. I'll tell you why. And I'm a huge wrestling fan, but I'll tell you why. 1994, 1995, wrestling was stale. I think it's all safe to assume that. People were getting tired of what WWE was doing. WCW was getting there. They had signed Hogan. They were gaining traction, but they were still Then they started to get edgier with Nitro. And the ECW started catching on. And that's what saved wrestling in the 90s. Because that made Vince McMahon think. McMahon had to be on top of his game, and born was the Attitude Era. Austin, Rock, Helmsley, Taker in his more sinister role. HBK. What's wrestling going to do now? Because it's back to square one. It's back to where it was in 93, 94. People were getting tired of World Wrestling Entertainment in the early 90s because they were catering to kids. People were tired of seeing Doink the Clown. They were tired of seeing Earthquake. They were tired of seeing the Gobbledygooker. They were just tired. They were tired of seeing Repo Man. They were tired. So they flipped to WCW. They flipped to ECW. Remember, you had Smoky Mountain Wrestling at the time, which was gaining viewers. I think Memphis still had stuff going on. And the reason why the wrestling world is down now, because you have two wrestling companies now that are on prime television. WWE has Raw, Monday nights, SmackDown Friday nights, and TNA has Impact on Thursday nights. But it's the same thing. TNA is giving you essentially the same product that WWE is giving you every Monday. TNA has the heel authority, the authority figure that promised good and then turned heel. Does that remind you of something? Does that remind you of Triple H firing Vince McMahon, dethroning him becoming the COO, and then he stabs the champ, Daniel Bryan, in the back? What do we see in TNA? MVP gets Dixie Carter out. He's the babyface authority figure. And then he stabs Eric Young in the back. It's the same thing. Do you see Abyss's new look now? Almost like with the red mask. Abyss is nothing more but a Kane and Mankind ripoff. Stop. TNA can be the alternative to WWE if they do not use the same goddamn thing that WWE does. What you see on Monday nights on USA is essentially the same stuff you see on Thursday nights on Spike. The only exception, there's blood and there's a little bit more stuff going on with the divas, or the knockouts as TNA calls them. TNA knockouts wear more revealing clothes. And don't get me wrong, the WWE divas don't parade out there in turtlenecks, but the knockouts are just hotter in TNA. But it's the same thing. Give it 2-3 weeks, Kurt Angle will turn heel. TNA always has to have a heel authority figure. They're stuck in the McMahon 1998 era. They're stuck in it. Stop it. And this is what's killing wrestling. We have to save this great sport. Ring of Honor needs a big television deal, because you see those pay-per-views that they're putting on? Tremendous stuff. And I want to have hope, and I want to believe in GWF with Jeff Jarrett. I want to believe in that. I want to. We just need something to energize us again. And listen, I'm not saying I don't get excited every Monday for Raw. There's times that, yeah, you know what, this is a good Raw. I'm intrigued. And then there's sometimes I'm like, this really sucks. Like, I don't like the toilet humor at all. I don't need to see Stephanie McMahon vomiting on somebody. I don't need to see Vicky Guerrero thrown in a pool of vomit. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that. I want wrestling. Give me the action. And Vince is losing $46 to $52 million, but what does he care? Because he has no competition. He doesn't have to worry about Ring of Honor. He doesn't have to worry about TNA. He doesn't have to worry about GWF. Wrestling needs a kick in the ass. That's what they need. And I think WWE is good. Listen, you got Roman Reigns, who I love. My girlfriend and her friends love him too, but that's another story. When I'm in the same room and Roman Reigns is on the television, I don't exist. But that's another story for another day, for another program. I love the fact that Roman Reigns is being pushed. I've always been a huge believer in him. I love him. I love Seth Rollins. I love Dean Ambrose. I love Cesaro. Even Barrett I love. Adam Rose is starting to grow on me. Give it time and that gimmick will run its course. But for now, I like Adam Rose. Dolph Ziggler needs to be pushed more. I think Curtis Axel can get pushed more as a singles competitor. I really do. I think they could do stuff with Ryback. They got to break up Stardust. I love the Usos. I love the Wyatts. So it's not like WWE is losing $46 to $52 million for this calendar year. They're set to use that. They're set to lose that. Excuse me. And they have no stars. They do have stars. But I use but. How many times do we criticize WCW for? Guys, what are you doing? Ted Turner, Eric Bischoff, what are you doing? You have Dean Malenko, you have Chris Benoit, you have Perry Saturn, you have Eddie Guerrero, and we're still pushing Hogan and Flair and Piper and Nash and Randy Savage. Well, it's the same thing in the WWE for the most part. I mean, listen, Reigns is going to get his title, but still, there's Cena with the championship. There's Randy Orton and Kane in the Fatal 4-Way with them. And where's Dolph Ziggler? Where's Cesaro? Where's Big E? Where's Sandow? Where are these people? WWE is becoming WCW. But the thing is, they have no competition to challenge them and make them realize, oh crap, we're screwed. We have to start pushing more of these stars. I think Ambrose also, too, will one day be a world champion. Seth Rollins, too. I mean, listen, he's got the money in the bank. He will cash it in. But, you don't need Batista. You don't need The Rock. You don't need Brock Lesnar. You don't need that. Stop becoming what you hated. Stop becoming what you fought against. Stop becoming what you put out of business. Stop becoming World Championship Wrestling. WWE is becoming WCW, and you can't have that. You can't do it. And Vince, of all people, should know what the hell's going on. Vince knows hell. Vince put these WCW documentaries up all the time. You know, and JR, WCW had great talent, but they didn't push it. That was one guy they pushed, now it's Goldberg. Well, you know what? What are they doing now? They got one guy that they're really, really pushing to the moon, and it's Roman Reigns. Yeah, they're pushing Ambrose. Yeah, they're pushing Rollins. But one guy they're pushing to the moon, that's Roman Reigns. And there's Orton, and there's Cena. First of all, Bray Wyatt faced John Cena 3 times. Why did John Cena have to win twice? Cena's got to start putting over people, and I don't want to hear, oh, well, he does. Yeah, you know what? He should have put Bray Wyatt over, because Bray Wyatt will be a star. They love him already. He's a heel, quote-unquote, and the whole arena is chanting for Bray Wyatt. They love him. You can't have it like Hogan, Flair, Savage, and Nash used to have it in WCW. You can't do it. You can't. You got to get new tag teams in. See, losing the Wolves to TNA hurt for WWE. And that was a bad part on Triple H, who I will say Triple H has been really good with the talent. Triple H is really putting his heart and soul into NXT and trying to mold these talents. Triple H is looking at this, and Triple H gave NXT the platform on the WWE Network. Triple H is doing a great job, but there was a big mistake by Triple H saying they're too small. The Wolves are tag team stars in TNA. And I feel they're being wasted there because TNA just doesn't do anything. Again, in TNA, why do you need to give the title to Bobby Lashley, who is not a wrestler? He's a glorified UFC guy. Why do you need to give the title to him? Why? I'm sorry, but the way Eric Young busted his ass for that company, you should have gave Eric Young the title and have him hold it for a year. That guy went through awful gimmicks and went and busted his ass for TNA. And after what, a couple of months he take it off him? Bobby Lashley? Seriously? That's what's wrong with the wrestling business. These owners push the guys that they think are the stars that are getting them the money. They're not. No one's turning on TNA to see Bobby Lashley. They're turning on to see Joe, to see Eric Young, to see Bubba Ray, to see the Wolves, to see Bobby Roode, James Storm, Mr. Anderson. That's what they're turning into TNA for. Not Bobby Lashley. And WWE fans do not tune in for Brock Lesnar or Batista or Orton. They're tuning to see Roman Reigns, to see Dolph Ziggler, to see guys that bust their ass and can wrestle in the ring. I'm sorry, but you want a fatal 4-way match? Fine, you have a fatal 4-way match. Cena, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. I know with the storylines, you really can't do that. Cena, Roman Reigns, Cesaro, and Ziggler. I'm still not going to stop saying Ziggler. I'm not going to stop saying it. I'm not. Or Bray Wyatt. But now they're bringing in Chris Jericho to really put over Bray Wyatt, which I got to give Jericho credit for that. Jericho's good at putting over the talent. Jericho put over Fandango last year. I mean, but why does Kane have to be in the main event? Why is Orton constantly in the main event? Orton's character is so bland and vanilla, it's not even funny. They need a kick in the ass, because guess what? People were tired in the 90s of watching Doink the Clown and Repo Man and Gene Okerlund dancing around with the gobbledygooker. They were tired of it. Well, we are tired of toilet humor. We are tired of hornswoggle. We are tired of everything. We're tired of Super Cena. We're just tired of it. Ring of Honor and TNA and GWF can really pump up excitement in the wrestling business again if they're done correctly. Ring of Honor needs a TV deal. I know it's money, but hell, they need as much exposure as they can. Because if people start seeing this product, Ring of Honor, they're going to go, wait a minute, I like this. This is good stuff. I like this. I'm confident in Jarrett's GWF too. I just hope that Jarrett doesn't make himself the guy. Because he did it with TNA, but this is now what, 14 years later? You know, from him debuting GWF, it'll be what, 14 years after he debuted TNA. And he was the top guy in TNA. You can't have that. Jarrett's a good mid-card guy. He's got to realize that. And TNA can be great too, if they're if they are what they say they've always been, which is the alternative to WWE, and they're not. They're the same thing. It's the same storylines. It's the same gimmicks. It's the same everything. It's just different wrestlers. It's different announcers. It's different arenas. But the concepts aren't different. They're the same. And that's what's killing the wrestling business nowadays. Because people are like, I can't deal with watching the same stuff on Raw. Let me turn on Impact on Thursdays. And yeah, you get a good wrestling match here and that, but you read in between the lines and you see the storyline, it's the same thing. Wrestling needs a kick in the ass. Back after this.